Today I want to talk a little bit about synergy and building blocks of food. Now what I mean by that is you make one thing that you learn how to make, then you learn how to make another thing because of that first thing. Let me explain. Okay, what you're looking at in there is pizza dough, which it's pizza dough, but today it's going to become a Stromboli. Very, very basic version of building blocks and synergy, but you get the idea. You learn how to make one so you can make the other. Now, coincidentally, I use this exact same recipe to make almost all of my breads, and they all come out really, really good. So there's a synergy and there's a building block. Video to come. It's my one bread to rule them all. But on top of just the bread, we need a sauce, which we did a marinara sauce, and that's basically what I'm going to use. We also need, I made a seitan ham and a seitan sausage-like product, as well as a mozzarella cheese-like product. All plant-based, of course, because, you know, this is the plant-based bistro, after all. I'll show you those in just a second. Okay, let me back up a little bit. What I mean by synergy and building block things is essentially if you know how to make a bread type product, you can make pizza, calzone, stromboli, breads, all sorts of things, which can include bread that you just eat out of hand, garlic bread type of things, sandwiches, even hoagie rolls, hamburger buns. They're all just bread. So if you know how to make one, you kind of know how to make all the rest. Seitan, if you can make a basic seitan, you can flavor it with other things and make all sorts of seitan. Everything from just a basic, like almost a turkey or a ham kind of thing, to a sausage, to kibasi, to all sorts of different flavors, even flavors that no one's even thought of yet. You can make it your own way, and that's the beauty of this style of cooking. And interestingly enough, vegan cooking or plant-based cooking has afforded a lot more leeway when it comes to what ingredients you use. There's much more available to you as a plant-based eater than an omnivore. And I'm not really trying to make a comparison or say one is better than the other. It's not about that. It's more, if I want to make a protein, okay, a meat-like product, I can make it using seitan. I can make it using TVP. I can use any of the pre-made processed type of stuff. I can use beans. I can use all sorts of things. Tofu is another one. There's a plethora of ingredients you can use to make similar things to what you're used to eating if you were coming from an omnivore diet. In our case, the Stromboli today is really, really simple, but requires quite a bit of knowledge, okay? That knowledge comes in time. Don't worry about it. If you're new to plant-based cooking, Stromboli might not be the first thing you want to make, okay? I'll be honest. But if you can make a seitan, you can make a bread, you can make a cheese sauce, which honestly took like 5 minutes. We actually did a cheese sauce on the channel, but if you guys want, I can make this mozzarella. It's super easy. And I just use different spices to make the seitan into a ham and a sausage. And then marinara sauce. And that's basically it. Assemble it all together and you have a Stromboli. The dough has risen. The dough is ready to receive the ingredients. And here we have the two seitans that are going into this Stromboli. The one on the left here, that's the ham. And the one on the right is the sausage. It's rather unfortunate. There was some red coloring into that ham. I used beet, but it didn't seem to hold. Hey, you know what? You win some, you lose some, but color isn't everything. It still tastes like ham, according to Derica. Oh no, there's extra seitan. Guess we'll just have to use that in sandwiches. And, you know, what kind of Stromboli would it be without some sort of cheese-like product? So here we have our mozzarella cheese. I say that with quotes. You can't see it in the video, but you know, there's quotes around that cheese. Here we go. Look at that. Nice and creamy. Flexible. Yeah, it's nice. By the way, if you guys want to see any of these recipes, the seitans or the cheese or the dough, let me know and we can make a video on each of these. And here we have the Stromboli ready to go in the oven. Now you might be wondering, what does this have to do with learning all these steps and all this kind of thing? Well, think about it. This was bread making. Let me get that in focus. Bread making, seitan making, cheese making, and marinara, which you haven't seen yet, but we did a video on that. All those things together make this Stromboli work, but that could also be pizza, calzone, any number of other things. So, don't limit yourself to what you can make using one ingredient or one technique. Kind of build off of each technique and go from there. So, somebody needs to have tomato sauce or some sort of marinara for their Stromboli. Not saying who, but it's not me. Now you might also wonder, why so many analogs to omnivorous food? And I think it's because many of us grew up eating that way, and it's kind of a comfort level thing, I love Stromboli and pasta and calzones and things like that and pizza, and being able to make those plant-based is really important to me because it makes me feel like I'm not missing out on anything. So if you feel like you're missing out, try looking at something that you ate in the old days or the before times and try to recreate that plant-based. You'd be surprised. Given a few skills, a couple learning things along the way, watch a couple of our videos, you'd be amazed how much you can recreate from the before times in plant-based food. And it's kind of amazing when you do, because 9 times out of 10, the textures are the same, the flavors are almost the same, and everything about it, the feeling of it, comes across. So it's really easy to reproduce things that we used to eat when we ate, things that we just don't eat anymore. It's beginning to smell like Stromboli. And here we have the ginormous Stromboli. I mean, seriously, this thing's huge. There's way more than the two of us can eat. Oh, look at that! Fantastic! And there's the Stromboli, but now it's time for some sauce. Oh yeah, and there's Fawn screaming in the background. She's not being helpful today. Look at that though, that looks amazing. In case you were wondering, that was absolutely delicious. It was up there with any of the before times Strombolis that I've ever made. It was just really, really amazing. That cheese is a game changer. I may have to do a video on it. It's that kind of good. And the seitans, I could probably do both in one video. What do you think, babe?
Yeah. It's just a spacing difference, right?
Yeah, the only difference was spicing, but that was a chickweed seitan. It was actually a whole different process than what I've made in the past. Really, really cool stuff. But the idea is, if you learn a basic technique, you can build on that and make other things that are totally unique and different from the original thing, yet still based off of the original thing. It's all just, synergy and building blocks. For those of you curious, no, we did not eat that whole thing. There's just no way we could eat all that. There's like half of it left. That's a whole other meal. But I think that ends this video. Thanks as always for watching and have a great day.